The crew worldwide, from Cali to Twitter, real hardcore fans, boxing ass niggas, consistency cops, police the views, we'll pull up receipts for any debate you choose. Shout outs to Clan Archie for the dope production. Ring Gang stay with the best discussions. Ring Gang Radio.
And we have for Saturday now, so going to the weekend, an actual weekend, we have a top ranked car in Newark, New Jersey, a car that I will be in the house for. I will be there. Ring Gang, definitely. We're gonna be out there. We're about to make our national TV debut. You know what I'm saying? So, so I'm excited about that. The card itself, though, I'm okay. I'm on the fence about. The main event is going to be Shakur Stevenson, who, of course, is from Newark and who is one of the stars that Top Rank is building. And he is going to be facing Alberto Guevara. I do not know who he is, but I also know this was not Stevenson's original opponent. Stevenson has had the unfortunate luck of having having his original opponent and the second opponent announced all back out of the fight. And both of those opponents were someone that were, some fighters that could give him a fight. Alberto Guevara, just by looking at his record, does not fit that mold at all. I mean, dude is 27-4 with 12 knockouts. And although the last time he got knocked out was almost 6 years ago, in his lone title shot, I believe. But it's not a fight, and he's actually coming off a loss. That's even another thing. He's coming off a loss. Hugo Reyes. Actually, Guevara, he was actually on the fucking Pac and Broner card. And that was a hard fight. Oh. Yeah. So that's who Stevenson is facing. Like I said, I mean, I'm gonna be hoping that Stevenson actually finds his big boy power and actually attempts to put him away. The main event, though, at least is probably a little bit better. It's Joshua Greer, another rising star, and he'll be facing an IBF Bantam eliminator, Nikolai Potapov, who, like I said, that fight is actually one of the better fights. That's actually not a bad co-main event fight, but it's just it sucks though that co-main event it's the co-main event of a fight that's like a pure showcase in every sense of the word. You know what I'm saying? But it's just Stevenson has had opponents drop out on him, which is sad. It's like, you fighters out there, I mean, the young boy is only going to get better. Like, you can cancel out these fights or whatever, but there'll be a point where when Stevenson starts really reaching his prime, he's going to be hard to beat. You guys should be jumping at the opportunity to try to actually see what you can do with him. But boxing's the way of the world. I mean, yes, there are external politics, but there are also internal politics. That politics that are caused by the fighter themselves, and this is one of them. These fighters, like I said, Stevenson's only had 10 pro fights. You should be eager to actually jump in the room with him and try to see what you can do. You can rough him up or whatever, before he gets to the point where that's not going to be a possibility unless he really slips. So, but I will be there though. I will be there to watch this fight and see what it's all about. It should be a good time over in Newark and the Prudential Center. I haven't been in New Jersey sometime, so it's gonna be. So yeah, like I said, it will be a good time for sure. And then ESPN Plus also is airing a card from London. Where you have British heavyweight prospects Daniel Dubois and Nathan Gorman going for 12 rounds. That should be a decent fight. But it's just like I'm not overly excited about it because it's ranking British heavyweight title. It's not even like a world title eliminator for me to really care about it all that much. And I watch British boxing, but it's just like I'll watch it, but it's not a fight that I'm gonna be like, yay. Like if it wasn't shown, I wouldn't really care about it. That's straight up and down. But the co-main event though is probably a little bit more interesting. Joe Joyce versus Bryant Jennings. Joe Joyce we've talked about before. We've talked before in the past. He has decent power. Seems to have a pretty good chin. He's coming off knocking out Bermain. Yeah. But then also in that particular fight, Joe Joyce, was actually getting hit by diverting counters, slow ass counters, flush. Which raises a couple of eyebrows.
So fucking stiff. Oh my goodness. If y'all say AJ stiff, if y'all think Anthony Joshua was a robot, then Joe Joyce, I don't know what can be described. It's like if you're a robot, he's the very first Terminator ever created.
Mm-hmm.
That's how stiff he is. Getting hit with them damn stern counters. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
Nah, no problem, man.
You just brought up a bad image. I'm like, oh my god, yeah. I'll shut up.
And then we got Bryant Jennings. Bryant Jennings' last fight was when I was in the house for, where he suffered a last round stoppage at Oscar Rivas, who actually has a big fight coming up. I think it's not this weekend, unfortunately, but it's coming up very soon. But Bryant Jennings doesn't seem to be. I mean, he seems to be declining for. I'm not sure if it's physical decline or inactivity decline or whatever. I mean, he held his own with Rivas.
A little bit of both, though.
Yeah.
It don't seem like he's taking punches that good anymore.
Yeah, because even the fight before his last win against Dimitrenko, I think it was, he got dropped in that fight before he came back to win by stoppage.
Right.
And I was like, that dude is not anything special. Like he shouldn't have not went down, in that fight. But he got the stoppage. But it's just like, I mean, he's 34 years old, so he should be at the tail end of his prime right now. His physical prime. But Oscar Rivas, like I said, was a known fighter, and he held his own with him. So I mean, it wasn't like a bad performance or whatever, but it was just disappointing that he fell apart like that in the final round. So I mean, we're gonna see, but he is a veteran, so we're gonna see what Joe Joyce does with him. Obviously, if Joe Joyce beats him, convincingly, then it might be time for BY to hang him up. If BY wins, then it was a long time. It was a long time. I wouldn't say exposal, but it would be a long time coming for Joe Joyce for sure.
Yeah, because Bryant Jennings actually in this fight to me, but if he's really lost a step, then I don't know, because Joe Joyce hit hard, but I feel like a guy like Jennings, who knows how to fight 10 toes down and come in, be aggressive, have a jab, do body work. I feel like he can really, put some hands on Joyce. Because Joyce is a big guy. He's a whole lot of target.
Yeah.
Not a lot of defense,
No, not at all. Very little defense. So yeah, I mean, pretty much, it has a feeling of a crossroads fight. If Joyce wins, then BY might need to think about retirement. If BY wins, then Joe Joyce will have a window to try to at least fix some of his flaws, because he has lots of them. So yeah, and then we have the final notable fight of the weekend from PBC. That's gonna be airing on Fox Sport 1, main evented by Jamal James. Who probably should have gotten a shot at a welterweight title like a while ago, and he'll be facing former lightweight champion Antonio DeMarco. It's not a bad fight on paper. Although I don't rate DeMarco at welterweight all that much.
Nah, it's not really. It's not. There's like none of these fights are really main event, quality either.
Exactly.
Like a lot of these would be good on one fucking card, or supporting another card, you know, with a better main event.
Right, and like DeMarco too, if I'm not mistaken, he's actually coming off a loss. You know, he's not. This is not a fight, and he was coming off a loss at super lightweight. So this is, and Jamal James is a welterweight contender. So it's just like, you know, DeMarco just seems to be just playing, just seems to be weight jumping just to get fights, and you hate to see fighters like that who are, you know, that were once champions end up in this type of situation. And so I mean, like I said, I don't expect anything different because Jamal James is a 6'2" welterweight and then DeMarco is what, 5'8" or 5'9" or whatever. You know, it's just like, and like I said, he's had plenty of wars. He's, you know, so it's, I mean, this is a fight for Jamal James to look good at, in hopes of actually getting a shot at a welterweight champion at some point, you know, and he has to look good. For DeMarco, I don't know about you, Ellie, but I'm just not expecting. I mean, if he wins, he wins. You know, that'll be an upset. If you think of it as upset,
right. But I'm not expecting one, and I'm not, you know, he's gonna get his, but. If you know, DeMarco's the type of guy. If you're trying to make a statement, here he is. You know what I mean? Like you're supposed to do what it do. You're supposed to make that statement. But DeMarco got enough power, enough veteran savvy experience where if you don't take care of business, he'll make you pay for it. So it's one of those fights, and hopefully it's entertaining. You know, remember, it's still a toaster leaving.
Yeah. For sure, and especially its co-main event, Robert Helenius versus Gerald Washington. And I get on PBC a lot for its matchmaking, and this is a perfect example of why I do. Perfect example of why. Like, who thought it would be a good idea to get Robert Helenius back from God knows what he's been doing, and putting him in the ring with Gerald Washington? Like, why? You know, I mean, Robert Helenius, I was done with him when dude fought in one of the most horrid fights I've ever seen watching TV live against Dillian White, and he allowed Dillian White to just outwork him. You know, and it's just like, I mean, Helenius at one time was looked at as like the cleanup guy, at heavyweight early in the decade, because he ended Layman Bruce's career. He knocked out Sam Peter violently. He knocked out Lajkovic violently, and he won a kind of like a war with Derek Chisora. But then after that, he started getting injured, and he lost all his momentum, all of it. And then dude got killed by Duhaupas, you know, who's a Wilder victim, as well as a Povetkin victim as well. And then pretty much then he's just been wasting his career pretty much. He hasn't really fought, I mean, except for the Dillian White fight, he hasn't really fought anyone of substance. But hey, he's gonna make an appearance on American TV. I think he's gonna make American TV and it's Gerald Washington, who's in a situation where, so this is pretty much this has a makings of a do or die type of fight. A do or die fight that this shouldn't be televised.
Hell no.
Oh man, so yeah, I mean, that is boxing for next weekend. All of those damn fights, all of them it's just like, it's like the junk food of boxing. But
junk food usually tastes good though. It's like none of these fights on some like, damn, you know, this is appetizing. You know, I feel like this is like maybe junk food that kind of is nearing the expiration date. But some of them is real good. So even if it's close to being a little old, you still gonna like it. You still gonna fuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
but it's in a pile of other shit that's even worse off than that. And
Right.
that's what we have with these batch of fights, because you must have did about 10 or 12 fucking fights, you're gonna see this weekend. But on one hand, maybe less than one hand, you can name about 3 that you want to see.
Right.
Ray Vargas and the Kamita fight. Let me see. I'm interested in Jennings and
Joy.
And I think there was one more fight that I'm like, okay.
Definitely wasn't. It definitely wasn't the PBC. Was it the anything on the PBC card?
I don't think so. Oh yeah, it has to be the Gerald Washington. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Oh man.
Yeah, it gotta be that. Well, damn, I guess it just you can't even ET couldn't fucking name the damn fights. Only 2, nigga. Like, what, he got 3 fingers? Like, nigga, that's 2 fucking fights. He named about 12 fights. Nigga said 2.
Yeah, that's not a good look for all these fights. It's not a good look, man. And like, this is what we talked about before about 2019, man. Fights, these showcases are fights that don't have no rhyme or reason, and all these fights, with the exception of like one, don't have any rhyme or reason, man. Boxing has to get better. Boxing, if we're gonna have all these cards, I will at least have I want to have at least cards where I'm gonna be like flipping back and forth, whether just going on looking on my computer to watch streaming or going on TV. It has to be something of that nature. Like this, I'm not impressed with this matchmaking for this coming weekend for any of these cards. Not one. The closest one is probably the zone card, but it's just a whole lot of nonsense.
Yeah. Like, easily that card could have been last week, and we would have trimmed some of the fat off, but nah.
Yeah,
just dump everything in the garbage disposal one time.
Yep. So that's why we were like, that's why we did this particular podcast, not to really hype up any of the fights in it, but just to really show this is the example. Like, this is unacceptable. Boxing needs to. This is the reason why boxing has cooled off a lot on the mainstream level. Because of the fights like this, these nonsensical fights. The fights that should be made are not made, and the fights that the fights that are the fights that aren't made should be made, and the fights that should be made aren't made, or whatever, man. Whatever,
Yeah, I this is the thing, man. It's like talking about these garbage ass fights then it hurts you to the core so much that you can't even get the words out, bro.
Right.
Damn, what I'm gonna do, man? It's like abort. Like these niggas, they really done tried it with these shitty matchups, man. Like, just real talk, you don't have no real super fight on the horizon of boxing either. well, honestly, think about it. What's the biggest potential fight in boxing that realistically could happen that you want to see?
Shit, nigga, I can't even think. It's like, it's not middleweight anymore, and it's already past that light heavyweight end. And of course, the real fight was Wilder versus Joshua, but
right, and that's done. They could fight again, but it'll never be what it was.
Right, unless Wilder.
That's done.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. That was like the only legit super fight out there, but that's the only legit super fight out there, and it's just like
you can't have a super fight with Canelo because he's never gonna lose, so there goes that.
And then welterweight has prime fighters in their division, like you have Terrence Crawford, you have Errol Spence, you have Keith Thurman, and not one successful argument to have any of those 3 actually fight each other. So it's just
but you know what? I'll hold off on welterweight a little bit because everybody's been kind of moving in that division this year, but it's just not all of them been moving in good directions.
Yeah.
The Pacquiao Thurman fight, you know, we can't complain about that. Like that's a good fight.
It's not really it's a good fight, but it's not a super fight. It's not like, I mean, people are gonna be
it's not. You know, I wouldn't even include it as a super fight. It's a good fight, but if you compare it to what else we just named, I mean, shit,
yeah.
Joshua Wilder, like hell no.
Shit, it's Mayweather Pacquiao status. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you know, Pacquiao Thurman, I was like, I'll take that, and you know, Spence Porter, I'll take that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Crawford is who I'm looking at, who needs to do something. Shit, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, if that happens, I'll take that too. So I can't even really get on welterweight like that unless niggas is gonna say Spence Crawford. But I'm looking at it like, shit, I want to see Spence Porter because Crawford fight, you know, Thurman fights, none of them just mean anything, and Spence can't really show what it do against a guy like Porter. So I'm not even gonna jump the gun because Porter ain't top 10 pound for pound for me. He ain't the best nigga out or none of that shit. Like, he still got more to prove, and so I can't even say nothing. So if you go below welterweight, you know, what other big fight? I mean, there, you know, there's no super fights. The fights you're gonna have. Yeah, it's like no super fights. They're good fights. The only super fight I think people could make right now, that if it came out of nowhere, everybody would be like, okay, fuck that. Yeah. I think the closest you'll get to that is maybe Tank and Lomachenko.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a super fight, but it'd be an anticipated fight for sure.
Yeah, it falls right under super fight. Like, if it falls right under a super fight to me because, I mean, it's not a super fight. Don't get me wrong, but it's on the cusp. Only if Tank would have built himself up more.
Yeah, but it faced better fighters instead of who he's been fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But if you was to hear an announcement that was made tomorrow that fight is gonna happen, it's signed, that would literally be like one of the best fights that happened in the sport. And we done went through like how many divisions we done talked about.
Right.
I can't even say Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko because we already see that path that Lopez is going. So, you know, I'm not even jumping the gun with that shit. But there's no other fights that interest me like that. Like, I mean, J-Rock and, you know, her going, you know, if they rematch, I fucks with that. Mm-hmm. Charlo Harrison, like, just a whole bunch of, you know, we'll watch boxing, but ain't nothing really. Shit, maybe the damn you know what, the Monster Daenerys and Taylor and Progress about the best fucking fights right now that I really looking forward to.
Yeah, but like I said, they're not, you know, fortunately, they're not super fights of that nature.
Not super fights though, yeah. Like, so super fights really are dead, man. No more articles, fuck you.
Yeah, so it's just like interesting, like these showcases are like now the norm in boxing right now. And this,
I'm tired of predicting this shit.
In 2019, like y'all just need to get better. Like all these fights out there, I love boxing. I love watching boxing. But I want to, if I'm gonna have all these boxing, I want to see that at least half the fights be significant, not just like fucking less than 10%. You know what I'm saying? So
Yo, for real.
So
less than 10%, like 7% of the boxing coming on this year has been insignificant.
Right. You know, and you know, it's that's not a good look. Period. So
some of them was on pay-per-view.
That's also real talk. Oh man. So so that's our show for tonight, man. Like I said though, so yeah, if you're as jaded as we are, you know, subscribe, comment, whatever, share your grief with boxing, and you know, and the weekend with these type of fights. LB, do you have any final comments before we get up out of here?
Nah, man. I guess, yeah. You know, I mean, I like hot sauce on my toaster leavings. You know, you know, y'all might be able to find a little soy sauce packet or a little honey mustard on yours. I don't know. I mean, I prefer a full meal, but I guess we'll fuck with these damn toaster leavings, fucking scraps this weekend. And we'll see what they do next week on ringgangradio.com. Y'all be on the lookout for that wrap up coming soon, real soon. And y'all gonna love this one. It's better than the year of boxing y'all had so far. I'm gonna tell y'all that. That's it.
Yeah, that is real talk. And I don't really have anything, say other than I'm just gonna reiterate. I am gonna be at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey this Saturday for the Stevenson Great doubleheader. So yeah, if you see me, see a brolic 6'3" nigga walking around there, whatever. And trust me, you can't miss me. I'm one of the few media members that actually looks like he's seen the inside of the gym. So if you see me, man, let me know. Shout out to Leaving, right? Come up.
He listens to the podcast. Like, okay, he knows.
Yeah, man. They just come up to me. I won't bite or whatever. Just say hello, whatnot. So it's all good. So for myself, Patscorpio representative, for the GOAT artist, Shutterworth da Gawd, LB, Rain Gang's in the house as always, and this is real talk as always. But shit's real, we talk about it. So we out until next weekend. 1